I had a hard time finding, maybe you guys found some better links, like actual, like historical, whatever the hell this was dramatizing.
Yeah, it was weird. It's kind of
I could not
semi-buried as
find,
history.
like Wikipedia was a kind of a swing and a miss. Like you'd think that there would be more information about what went down for real.
Right.
No, because I mean, basically, what happens in the movie is what happened in real life. Like
I guess.
it's one of those things where there was a workers collective that eventually grew to encompass a large portion of the population of the country, and they were violently put down by the state. Like that's
Were they this naively trusting and clueless in real life? I guess they must have.
I don't know if they were naive and trusting, but like they were mostly farmers, and like it just got to the point where the state had more guns than they did. Like that's
I admit I have never seen a film about this except outside of WR, Mysteries to Organism, that has this whole black and white evil capitalists twirling their mustaches, having like chocolate mousse.
Don't have any ripe ones.
Oppressing
Nightly
people.
whiplash, man.
Yeah, exactly. Versus the hardcore workers. Although,
come on now, there's Battleship Potemkin, the guy who sells the rotten meat.
All right, I stand corrected. But
you're right. You're right.
Well, I thought. What do you think about the idea about these guys having these endless meetings and like totally reconciling everything?
How many times have I said that the worst part about anarchism is all the meetings?
But that's
right, because if you're going to be an anarchist, it has to be like a majority vote.
But do you think the question is, are they being ironic or are they being realistic?
No, this is how it is.
I think it's like, realism.
This is what anarchism.
It was kind of funny after a while.
Like anarchism is, we all get together in a room and we talk about shit for like 9 hours, and then eventually we vote. And that's why I'm a communist, not an anarchist. Like,
yeah, okay.
it seems incredibly tedious, and the movie is also incredibly tedious because it is meeting after meeting after meeting. Then
however,
somebody dies, more meetings.
Meeting, death, meeting.
I know.
There are two things this movie has going for it
that
are remarkable. Number 1 through 9 is the soundtrack.
Oh, I fucking hate the music in this.
Phenomenal.
It was it was
number
Sergio
10
Leone on LSD, man. All
number
the way
10
through.
Was the cinematography, which at times was quite striking, I thought.
Yes.
It was actually pretty well put together.
The guy knew how to edit too.
It's a very beautiful movie.
The Foley was ridiculous. I think I commented this earlier.
The Foley was what foreign films in the 70s sounded like.
I know. It's just some dude in a room with like a bunch of
coconut,
like a
this scene is so loud. It's so loud. Like he shoots that guy with a fucking Barrett 50 caliber in this,
I want to know what kind of a
loud.
bomb can you have wrapped up in a little piece of newspaper, throw 5 feet, and have it like wipe out the other guy, and you're on
see those little things you buy at the 4th of July, you throw on the ground and they go pop.
But he doesn't.
Yeah, really big one.
But he doesn't. Like look at his leg. He's fucked up from this too.
Is he fucked up too?
Yeah. It's not. No one comes out of this unscathed.
Did you guys think it was weird that like this guy shooting the captain? I was looking for him the whole rest of the movie, and I don't think I ever saw him.
Yeah, he just the fuck appears.
He just appears.
Yeah,
I think
he was somebody they just sent to have the captain shot.
This storytelling is incoherent. I mean,
in some ways, yeah.
There are big sections that are logical, and I get that we're telling the story of this anarchist group and then the government that's trying to get them. And then it'll just cut to like a burning building or some guys with hose. And it's like one shot, and then it's something else. And I'm like, what? I don't get what that's supposed to signify.
I know. I just jumping ahead. This scene here fucked me up. This was really well done.
Yeah,
where all the prisoners they have to hold the candle, and they're like, "You gotta hold that candle."
Oh yeah.
That was
right.
If your candle goes out, we'll shoot you.
I know. This film was like, it started out silly. I thought there was a lot of meetings, and it was like I thought it was making fun of the whole anarcho-syndicalist thing, but it won me over in the second half because it was just so intense. It would just had this certain realism to it, like, oh, we're all gonna die, and these guys. That one German guy, Schultz, I think his name was.
German.
He's willing to die for his beliefs. It was like, I was like, oh yeah, we all agree.
When he goes around and shakes all of their hands before they get executed.
really good.
That was really good. I mean, it won me over. There's some strange charm about this film.
I'm with Scott. It's incoherent at times, and it also just the way. I mean, whatever agenda the filmmaker had and like sort of outlined the good guys and the bad guys was so like over. Like the bad guys are too mustache twirling, and the good guys noble but just numbskulls.
Yeah.
I mean, like every bad decision they could have make, they make. Like just
Hey, they're blue collar workers.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like in real life, were they this clueless?
Well,
they weren't this clueless. They weren't this clueless, but they were this dead end. Like they were that like this was the better option for them. And the better option out of death is death with your boots on, I guess.
I can see that.
You know, like this movie is bleak as shit.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
It says something about their class, the level of their class. You know, they're porters and shit at hotels and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like this is a real good option for them.
But they did shut down the country. Like they legitimately did.
I looked at that is true.
Yeah,
At least
at least
the
Santa
movie
Cruz.
shows the power of organization.
This is one of my this is probably my favorite part in the whole movie, because this is where you are. You're literally in this moment where it's just like we can shut down the country, but also what do we have? We have gravel and water, and that's it. Like that's
the gravel pit.
I thought that the last two scenes where you get that comment from the commandant right before he decides to like kill everybody, where he's like, what did he say? They're not going to say I was. Shit, I wish I'd written this down. Something to the effect of, I did, no one's going to say I was a nice guy, but I did my job, or something to that effect.
Something like that,
Then they proceed to
you can find the clip.
Kill everybody.
I think at the
kill
end,
everybody in pretty gruesome fashion, and then the last scene of the ruling class, like all ringing there, oh, we did it, we got rid of everybody,
and singing.
I know, in English.
He's a jolly good
He's a
fellow.
jolly
And
good
close up
fellow.
on the eyes, like in the hands of someone with a little more grace and subtlety, that would have been really amazing. As it was merely, I thought, a merely good end to the movie.
Yeah.
I think in the hands of somebody with more grace and subtlety, it would have lost something. Like I think it needs to be that fucking brutal.
It is
for
pretty raw
for this story. Like
No.
it needs to be them singing for "He's a Jolly Good Fellow" for killing all of these people. Like I think that for the story they're telling, I think that needs to be.
The owner of the story is that Colonel what's his name? The guy.
Yes.
In the end.
Guy
He starts
behind
out as like, I'm going to be reasonable. I'm going to deal with these people. We're going to give them what they want, and we're going to be that's harmonious thing. We're state and workers together. Then of course it doesn't work. At the end, he's like, well, I'm just going to do my job then and kill everybody.
Well,
And
he drifts from working class to ruling class through the course of the movie.
Well, the thing is,
he becomes part of the working
intentionally
class.
or not. It's by the being just doing his job, he ends up being elevated because the thing is, it's self-reinforcing. His brutality is self-reinforcing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the stories of this movie is that brutality is self-reinforcing. And
I guess, the only thing I'd say is that there's no subtext here. It's everything is like right.
Oh, it's
everything
text,
is text. Yeah, it's all text.
It's didactic as hell.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what the word ham-fisted I think might be the wrong term. But I mean, like
it's earnest. It's earnest.
This is basically the level of the story is like this thin.
Oh, did any of those people? Did anybody in this movie, by the way, they were all men, did any of them have wives, children, home lives, family?
I'm sure
Doesn't
they
look
did.
like it.
Apparently not.
Doesn't matter. They all got killed.
Yeah.
That's what this movie's about.
I hope they didn't. How's that?
Yeah, right.
The colonel had a wife and children.
That's
Yes,
right.
he's the only person that gets some kind of a backstory.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Man,
I mean, Scott, as Scott said, he's the owner of the film.
Yeah.
yeah. It's all about him. Even though it doesn't seem like it's about him, but it's about him. It's about his.
So,
it's his kind
I have a thought about the naivete or perhaps the trusting nature of these people. And it dawned on me that, they suffer, their major flaw is not that they're naive, but that they believe in sort of tradition and honor and stuff. And it's like, okay, if I'm waving a white flag and I walk over there and they're not shooting at me, then I'm going to get to walk back at the end of that.
They think
No,
they
it's
think
like,
the
no,
government
shoot
they think the
fucker.
government will play by the same rules that they do.
Right. And they
And
I'm
at the beginning
sure-
they do. At the beginning they do.
Oh, it's like Democrats.
Yes.
Actually, yes.
without the humor.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a
they don't
sad
have that
goddamn
either.
statement, John. I'm sorry to say. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's on me. Like, I'm trying to think, like, this was made in what, 73, 74, right?
74. Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe the worldview of the people making this move, like, I don't know, like, actually, I think the 70s were on some levels at least as screwed up as some of the times we're living through right now. But that level of, I can trust you not to shoot me in the back.
Again,
You would never think that now.
Well, and this also is like they're on a different level too than anything that we touch on in this country, because you've got the red flag of unionization and the black flag of anarchy.
Right.
And like that's not something that we're used to at all.
No, we haven't.
You know,
Americans don't have a
we
language for either of these things.
We don't
Right.
get the black flag of anarchy in this country. We occasionally get the red flag of unionization, but we certainly don't get the black flag of anarchy. So it is one of those things where it's like we're in a far different world when we're talking about how they're trying to deal with each other and how they're trying to deal with society. You know, like that's
Well,
that's
this is the Overton window.
no, the Overton window is
Yeah. Also, this is a film about a bunch of people who were just energized by what happened in Russia in 17.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like they were just
which a lot of people were.
yeah, a
which they
lot of
should
people
have
were.
been.
A
Yeah,
lot of people
honestly.
were.
I think
Hey,
at the
it's
same
Jared.
time in
This-
England
and
is the general strike is happening.
Jared's driving in
the
a
same
car.
time in the
Jared's
United
driving in a
States
car.
when there was a lot of communist stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the whole March on Washington, the bonus army.
You know, I'm gonna
What's that?
That's where red tape came from.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go back to what Chris said about the thing is that this era the film came out. This is about the stories about people trusting that the system was going to play by the rules.
Right.
Reminds me of All the President's Men, because
Yeah.
one of
It's
the
the
things
year.
that runs in that film is that well, we're all going to play by the rules, and even though these guys are breaking the law, there will be justice in with a capital J. Hi,
Well,
Jared.
and even then, in All the President's Men, they win in the long run, but that's the playbook that everyone has taken from since then, where it's like, oh, if I catch you in a lie, you're going to resign, and it's
Right.
like, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
No.
No, the playbook's different now, but a lot.
Yeah, it's totally different.
But that hopefulness, that kind of like thinking that people think collectively and together as people and have a certain sense of mercy informs the first half of this film.
Yes.
Like, and it's interesting because everyone plays by the rules. At a certain point that things break. I can't tell you exactly where. Then the colonel goes and wipes everybody out.
Right about here, actually, is where
Actually,
things
that
break.
is right about where it happens.
I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
know where everything went to hell. And
Yeah,
the only one that seemed to really know what was going to happen was the guy who's right above Tad's head. Like
He was the one.
really smart one in the whole movie.
Well, he's the organizer. He's
He's
the one
Soda.
he's the one who's like, I know where this is going and I know where this came from. You know,
But he's
the German guy
basically-
a little bit too, but he just has that Germanic like, we're fucked anyway. Like,
Yeah.
Going down with the ship.
That fatalistic,
Nice knowing you.
Hegelian kind of like thing.
yeah.
And Soto did survive, and he ran to Chile.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't. Okay. Again, I need to figure out where the repository of historical documents are related to this.
If
particular
you search
incident.
How many
around on-
slurs against Chileans are in this movie? Just
Lots and lots.
What is that
They had to
about?
put one in brackets, remember? Also, I had no idea that Patagonia was so multicultural. That's
Well, Argentina is.
Oh, that's what I meant. Argentina,
Yeah,
very multicultural.
Like in Chile, there are more descendants of Italian immigrants than Spanish immigrants.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, and it's similar and they're mostly from northern Italy, which was more radical than southern Italy.
Jim, Sheila was like, why did Jim pick this one? And then they identified one of the main characters as German, and then she was like, oh,
Ha!
there it is.
I picked it Because I picked it purely
Why did you
for
pick this?
Tad, because it's an anarcho-syndicalist.
I was going to ask you. I know you hadn't seen it before. How you came upon it and became aware of it, and why did you pick
Yeah,
it?
good question.
I'll paste it in the. I basically Googled anarchist films,
Oh,
and I found a list on Wikipedia,
that's great.
and I just started clicking on them, finding which ones were available, and sort of looking at them a
Oh,
little
you
bit.
just discovered this film. This isn't.
I just found it.
Wow.
I have
that's
never
amazing.
heard of this.
I love
never
that.
heard
I
of it,
love that. That's
but I
great.
would really like to get my head.
And the production values are pretty damn good. You know,
It's,
I mean,
it's Leone.
great.
It's Sergio Leone level stuff, which isn't bad.
Absolutely. And there's so
Yeah.
many great faces in this movie. I wish it
There
was a
are.
better movie, but there's so many
Yeah.
great faces in this movie.
It's definitely
isn't a
better
bad movie.
than the beginning led me to believe it was
It's
going to be.
clumsy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
awkward. Yes,
I
it's.
don't think it's a
This isn't a
bad-
bad movie, but it's an unfortunate movie. It's one of those things where you the more you watch it, the more it's like, man, I want this to be better. Like you're like pushing sand back up the beach. You know, it's just like I want this movie to be somewhere higher than where it ends up. And
Yeah, I agree.
Same
like
here. Same here.
I mean,
Like-
how many Argentine films have you seen? Kiss of the Spider Woman?
like 3.
Like
Yeah, I guess that makes two then, right?
It's like two.
That Wong Kar-wai film. It doesn't quite qualify.
No,
No, it doesn't.
Taiwanese.
Not an Argentine filmmaker, but yes.
Okay.
I'd rather watch that again.
Okay, but
Yeah.
now thumbs, I guess.
A mile, thumbs up. The soundtrack.
I'm
Fucking
glad I
soundtrack
saw
was
it.
great.
I
No, the
didn't-
music sucks. Fuck you.
The music was great.
The music is good, ironically.
The music is the only thing I really don't like about this
I
movie,
love
honestly.
this movie.
I mentioned to Tad before everybody showed up, the guy who played the Colonel, the actor,
Uh-huh.
was an Argentine actor. And after this movie, he got into trouble for basically being in this movie, and he went into exile in Spain
Turn the light on.
and spent the rest of his
So,
life
that's
there.
Oh,
interesting
wow.
point. Was
I
there?
can see that.
So there was some blowback.
Yeah, there was
Evidently-
fallout from this.
I was going to imagine the Argentine government could not have been thrilled with its existence.
Mm-mm.
No, imagine not. Yes.
Imagine not.
Oh,
Jared, how
Juan
did you like the
Perón
movie?
really didn't like this movie, it turns out.
Yeah.
But was that,
Jared,
was that when
did
he
you
was
like
in
the movie?
power in the 70s? Perón?
Who? He
Juan
came
Perón.
back
Who was
in
in charge
power,
of
remember?
Chile back then?
Well, Perón got kicked out like in the early 60s or something.
Okay,
after
but there's
Evita
some-
died, but then he came back.
Well, there
with
was
his
some.
second wife, Ava Perón.
Yeah, right.
Which is why there isn't a ton of information about this, because
Probably not.
It was mostly just like, nope. If you say the wrong thing about the government, we're throwing you out of a helicopter.
So
So
they did coin
Thanks,
the word
CIA.
disappear.
Jared, did you watch it?
Jared.
Jared.
Yeah,
Hi.
How'd you like the movie?
Oh, did you show up?
this is the one. I'm sorry, I didn't see this one.